Hi and welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at Crysis 3. Now this is the PlayStation 3 version, and the first thing you'll notice upon loading this game up is it is absolutely stunning. Now usually when a game comes out on all platforms, the difference between the PlayStation 3, Xbox and the PC version, the differences are usually so damn vast you could fit the Grand Canyon in between them, between consoles and PCs. But with this one, I think it's the best I've seen so far, to be honest. And of course, yes, it still runs better on the PC, but when you get graphics like you see now on a console that's how many years old? And not that much slowdown either. You might see the odd section when explosions are going off left, right and centre, and it'll slow down a little, but it's by no means unplayable, so it's perfectly fine. Now the campaign of this one is about 8 hours. It's not as long as Crysis 2. That came in about maybe around 11 or 12. So it's a little shorter, but they make up for that by making it a lot more story focused this time around. Whereas last time there was a plot there, but it wasn't that really in depth or anything. This time around it's like a proper focus, and in a lot of levels you'll have an AI partner with you, and you'll banter back and forth and talk about various plot points and everything. And yes, this time you've actually got a voice. But yeah, as you can see, the graphics are amazing. I'm currently hiding behind a log though, so that probably didn't help. The environment's a little bigger, I think, than the last time around. To be honest, I didn't do too much exploring just because I was purely enjoying the combat mechanics of it. All the guns kick as you think they should, and it's just a joy to play around on, really. Basically, I think this is set 20 to 30 years after the second game, which is why New York is so overgrown. Because of course, if you remember the floods and everything in the second game, I think that's why there's water everywhere, and that's helped plant life come. And the whole area is now covered by a giant dome, which I won't explain, but that's part of the plot as well. The suit works as it always did. They've improved it slightly this time around. No new mechanics or anything to it, it's just the perk system, like a skill point system you've got. Basically you can collect these things around the levels, collect those up, and then you can spend those on upgrading your armour, your health, being able to see tracer fire and everything. It kind of works like the second one did, but it's just a lot more improved and, well, it's just better on this one. You'll see a little clip of that later on. I'll explain that when it comes to it. And there are the odd little different levels, like this part is a section where you're just literally avoiding getting bombed by a tower. So you basically have to run around in stealth and get into cover quick before it runs off. It's silly, but I really like it, and it's just a joy to run around looking at graphics like this. Now I think, although it sounds slightly contradictory, they've gone more of a back to basics approach with this game, with even though you're wearing a super advanced suit and everything, but the whole hunting in the jungle, and they've actually given you a bow and arrow, which might sound rubbish, but once you start using a bow and arrow you realise it's absolutely amazing. Typically you can't quite see it here that well, it's because I'm actually in stealth, but that's the perk of it. You can use the bow and arrow and take down enemies and you'll stay in stealth, so you can take out loads of enemies in one go without anyone being the wiser. And here's just the skill point system I'm talking about. Basically you can have four perks active at any one time, and you can flip between them at will as well. Well, as long as you've got the skill points to buy them in the first place. So mixing and matching to how it fits your playstyle, I really enjoyed, and I really like that. Now just back to the bow and arrow. It might sound boring just firing basic arrows, but there are different types of arrows as well, like explosive tipped arrows, and my personal favourite, the electric one. Just basically if you fire it into a puddle or a river or something and enemies are nearby it, it'll get fried. It's just really funny doing that. There are some small driving sections in this game as well, which you can see here. They're very few and far between, so they're not overdone at least. And they're just good fun. They're pretty basic, but let's face it, what can you do with a driving section in a first person shooting game? But I enjoyed it, it's just a good mess about. And this is further towards the end of the game, as you can tell, possibly, by the fact that everything seems to be exploding or on fire. But yeah, personally, I enjoyed this one more than I did the second one. Not that the second one had that many problems, It's just I prefer this. I'm a story geek really, and I love RPGs, and this one just felt, from the word go, a lot more story based, so I got into it a lot more, and well, I just enjoyed it a lot more, to be honest. And it is interesting seeing the flooded New York City, and they've just done it fantastic. So I'd have to give this game a 9 out of 10. If you've got any interest in first person shooters, it's definitely worth picking up. The multiplayer has been expanded and they've added new modes, and that is really good fun to play as well. As you can just see, it's just really good fun to play this game, so yeah, definitely worth a rent at least if you will not buy it. But yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I shall see you next time.